When a woman starts acting confusing around you, pulling back when things are good, or saying things that do not seem to match her actions, most men immediately assume she is losing interest. They assume the attraction is fading or that she is slowly preparing to leave. However, in many cases, the opposite is actually true. She is not pulling away because she does not care. She is pulling away because she is starting to care too much, and that realization terrifies her. Emotional attachment means vulnerability, and vulnerability means the possibility of being hurt. What looks like mixed signals is often fear wearing a disguise. There are specific, recognizable behaviors women show when they are scared of falling for someone. And once you learn to recognize these patterns, her behavior begins to make sense. Instead of feeling confusing or inconsistent, one of the first signs is that she asks about your exes with more detail than expected. She wants to know what went wrong, how things ended, and who got hurt. This is not casual curiosity. It is fear-driven research. She is trying to understand whether she might end up in the same position as the women who came before her. If you left a relationship because someone became too attached, she takes note and wonders if she should protect herself from doing the same. If you were the one who got hurt, she calculates whether you are emotionally safe to open up to. These questions are not random or intrusive. They are her way of assessing risk and trying to avoid becoming just another story you tell someone else in the future. Another sign is that she downplays or deflects compliments that go beyond the surface. If you tell her she looks beautiful, she may accept it easily. But if you tell her she is different, that you admire who she is, or that you have never met anyone like her, she may change the subject, joke, or disagree. This is not simply low self-esteem, it is self-protection. Compliments about appearance are safe because they do not require emotional exposure. Compliments about her character mean you see her, and being seen means you could hurt her. The deflection is emotional armor. She is not rejecting your words. She is afraid of what it means if she allows herself to believe them. She may also bring up your future plans in a way that feels casual but carries an underlying tension. She asks where you see yourself in a year, whether you would ever move, or what your long-term goals are. On the surface, it sounds like normal conversation. Beneath it, she is checking whether a future with you is even possible. She is not planning a life together yet. She is mapping potential exits before she lets herself get attached. If your answers suggest instability or uncertainty, she quietly adjusts how emotionally invested she allows herself to become. This is not interrogation. It is fear disguised as curiosity. Another common behavior is that she becomes quiet right after an especially good moment. You might have just shared deep laughter, had an emotionally intimate conversation, or connected in a way that felt genuine and meaningful. Suddenly, she goes silent and withdrawn. Many men panic here, assuming they said something wrong. In reality, she just felt something real, and that feeling scared her. The silence is not disconnection. It is her processing the fact that she is deeper in than she expected. Filling the silence with nervous reassurance often makes it worse. Sometimes the best response is to remain calm and let her sit with what she is feeling. She may also joke about you leaving before you have ever given any indication that you would. She might say things like, "You will probably get bored of me," or "Give it a few months before you realize I am too much." She laughs when she says it, but the humor is a shield. She is preemptively bracing for rejection by naming it first. If she predicts the loss, it will hurt less if it happens. These jokes reveal that she is already imagining a future with you, and is afraid it will not last. Instead of laughing it off, gentle reassurance helps more than dismissal. Another sign is that she notices small changes in your availability, but pretends she does not. If you reply slower than usual, or skip a routine message, she notices immediately. She will not confront you about it because that would reveal how closely she is paying attention. Instead, she subtly mirrors your distance. She is watching your consistency, because consistency equals safety. Any sign of withdrawal triggers her instinct to protect herself before she gets hurt. She often remembers small details about your life but acts as if she does not. She brings up something you mentioned weeks ago, then casually claims she cannot remember if you told her. She remembers. She is just trying to hide how much mental space you already occupy. Admitting how much she remembers would expose how invested she is, and that level of exposure feels risky. Another pattern is pulling back after opening up emotionally. She shares something vulnerable, perhaps about her past, her fears, or her childhood. The next day, she seems distant or guarded. This is not regret about trusting you. It is fear about what trusting you could cost her if things go wrong. Vulnerability feels dangerous. Giving her space while remaining steady and consistent shows her that opening up does not lead to abandonment. She may also warn you about herself. By listing her own flaws, she says she is difficult, anxious, or hard to love. These are not confessions meant to push you away permanently. They are tests. She is offering you an exit before she becomes too attached. If you stay after seeing her imperfections, it signals safety. Acknowledging what she says without running from it is often exactly what she needs. She also pays close attention to how you handle small disappointments. If plans change or something minor goes wrong, she watches how you react. She is gathering information about how you handle stress, frustration, and emotional discomfort. These moments tell her whether you are emotionally stable enough for a deeper connection. How you handle the small things determines whether she will trust you with bigger ones. When things feel easy and peaceful, she may become uneasy. She might pull back or create minor tension. This is not because she wants chaos. It is because, in her experience, things that feel too good often end painfully. She is bracing for loss before it happens. Reassurance through consistent behavior matters more here than words. She may create tiny conflicts to see how you respond. She disagrees more strongly than necessary or raises a small issue she could have ignored. This is not manipulation. It is testing emotional safety. She wants to know if you listen, stay calm, and engage respectfully when things are not perfect. These moments are auditions for real relationship challenges. She may repeatedly ask if you are sure about her. She asks if you really like her or if you are certain about moving forward. This is not fishing for compliments. It is reassurance seeking. Rooted in fear, she is falling and needs to know the ground beneath her is stable. Answering with patience and consistency helps build trust. Another sign is that she over-explains small boundaries. If she cannot meet on a certain day, she gives a long explanation to make sure you do not misinterpret her absence as rejection. The explanation is not about the schedule. It is about protecting the connection and making sure you do not pull away. Finally, she talks about you to her friends but minimizes it when confronted. You meet her friends and one of them mentions how much she talks about you, she immediately downplays it. She has been talking about you often, but admitting that would reveal how much power you have to hurt her. The denial is not dishonesty, it is self-protection. These behaviors are not mixed signals. They are signs of emotional fear mixed with genuine interest. Understanding this changes how you respond. Instead of chasing clarity or overanalyzing every shift, you recognize depth and vulnerability. When you understand her fear and respond, with patience, consistency, and emotional steadiness, you create safety. And safety is what allows fear to slowly turn into trust and connection. When you understand that fear is driving her behavior, the next step is knowing how to respond in a way that calms her nervous system instead of triggering it. Most men make the mistake of pushing for reassurance, demanding clarity, or pulling away in response to her distance. That reaction confirms her deepest fear, that closeness leads to pressure or abandonment. What actually keeps you present in her mind is emotional steadiness. Being consistent without being needy shows her that connection does not require chaos, urgency, or force. Safety is built when your actions remain stable even when her emotions fluctuate. One of the most important things you can do is resist the urge to chase when she pulls back. Chasing feels logical, but to someone who is afraid of attachment, it feels overwhelming. Calm confidence creates curiosity and trust. When you give her space without disappearing, you show her that closeness is a choice, not a trap. This balance allows her to return on her own terms, which strengthens her emotional investment rather than weakening it. Another key factor is how you communicate when you are apart. You do not need constant contact to stay present in her mind. What matters more is emotional tone. Short, grounded messages that feel warm and intentional leave a stronger impression than frequent texts filled with uncertainty. When she feels your presence without pressure, her mind begins to associate you with peace instead of anxiety. That association is what creates longing when you are not around. It is also important to lead emotionally without trying to control outcomes. This means expressing interest clearly. Why?